The manhwa kicks in an inn where people are yapping with each other like they got no bills to pay. Suddenly, a man in a hood appears outside the inn, acting all mysterious. He walks inside the inn and heads straight to the counter, stating the code, Morge Corvette, year 413. The inn owner, finally getting the code, gives him a letter hidden under a bottle of wine, saying the phrase, room 402, second floor, Antolin. The mysterious man takes the letter, which turns out to be an invitation to a gambling event. After getting it, he says he'll go, but that's when a girl with blue hair steps in. She points directly at this mysterious guy and calls him out, saying that the invitation is fake. He turns toward her, asking what she just said, but the girl makes it clear that she means exactly what she said, the invitation is fake. The man is instantly shocked by her pink eyes he has never seen before. The girl keeps talking, asking if he's even listening because she's trying to tell him the invitation is a fraud. This shocks the mysterious guy even more. He glares at the inn owner. Then, taking off his hood, he orders the people around him who turn out to be his men to catch that bastard. The inn owner tries to run, and the man realizes that the fact the owner wants to escape probably means what the girl said must be true. But one thing keeps bothering him: how the hell was she able to tell the invitation was fake? Far from here, he wonders if she might be with the Mandala faction, the one that got cast away. The girl simply says it was obvious that the invitation was fake. The man asks if she was able to tell that just from a first glance. She says yes. The man insists that it's impossible, because that ticket isn't something a random civilian can even access. Only people linked to that arena can tell whether it's fake or real. But she just shrugs it off, saying she said that because it looked fake to her. The man is completely baffled. It's not like fake was written on it, but the girl calmly points out that it was indeed written on it. She is able to see all the details written on top of him: his name, status, and identity. He is a duke named G, with all his info plastered on him. And he's not the only one. Suddenly, the scene shifts. A modern-day setting takes over. Here, the female lead, San, is struggling with an endless pile of papers she needs to sort. Corporate life isn't easy. She already has dark circles under her eyes from all the work. Her boss strolls by, saying she needs to finish everything by tomorrow morning, before casually heading home and reminding her to save electricity while he's gone. San just sighs. All she can do is mutter "oh" under her breath. She's going to need at least 5 energy drinks to survive this workload. San is just a regular employee at a regular company, waiting for her contract renewal. If there's anything unusual about her, it's the fact that she lost her parents early on. She has been doing everything all on her own. People call her life the life without parents. San tried super hard and managed to get into a good company, but still it's an ordinary company, and she gets an ordinary amount of overtime too. The shopkeeper greets her when she drops by, baffled to see her working overtime again. The shopkeeper scans all the energy drinks for her and even throws in a free extra can. San thinks to herself that she needs to keep pushing through to secure her contract renewal. Later that night, she works late and finally finishes her assignments, only to realize the sun is already up. There's no time for her to even go freshen up at the sauna. That's when she gets a notification from the game she downloaded recently. She thinks to herself that it's not like she's going to get any sleep anyway, so why not just play a game? The game she downloaded is called Another Saga, a distraction she started casually playing. One day, in the game, a disaster happens and monsters begin descending. The protagonist in the game is a former farmer who becomes furious after the monsters destroy all his crops. Fueled by rage, he decides to charge into the mountains, and that's when the Another Saga really begins. San has been having fun playing it on and off. She even manages to reach level 11. She feels satisfied watching her character grow. But then, something starts to feel wrong. Her hands begin to tremble, and even her heart starts beating super fast. Sure, it could just be the energy drinks, but her vision begins to blur as well. She thinks she needs to call 911, but her breathing starts to cut off too. She collapses on the ground, thinking this is insane. If she's really going to die like this, it's truly pathetic to die from overwork. She curses the world, saying if she had known she'd go out like this, she wouldn't have suffered all this time. There were so many things she still wanted to do. But instead of dying, she finds herself suddenly logged into Another Saga. San opens her eyes to see a marketplace, packed with people yelling over each other, trying to sell things from their shops. She wonders if this is some kind of festival. But the place feels oddly familiar. The houses don't look modern at all, they look medieval. The people are wearing outfits straight out of a history book. San wonders why everything feels so familiar. Then, she realizes something even stranger. countless screens start popping up in front of her. She notices a mouse scurrying nearby, but she also notices something insane. The description of the mouse is floating in front of her eyes. She freezes, terrified. Then it finally hits her. She can actually see the details of things in front of her. She can't believe it. This only means one thing: she actually got pulled into the game. Then it seems like the body she came from must have died there, and on top of that, while crossing over, she seems to have gained some weird abilities. Honestly, it wouldn't have been that bad if she had just died instead of waking up again in this strange world. But since her last life was such a mess, she decides she's going to live this time all freely. A screen suddenly pops up in front of her, telling her that a quest has appeared. The quest? To destroy the world. The poor girl rubs her eyes, wondering if she's actually seeing the real thing. She's like, what the hell is she supposed to do with that? She gets paranoid, thinking maybe this is because of the wish she made while dying. She remembers cursing the world, telling it to go to hell. Now she's like, hell no. She tries to shout that she gives up the quest, but oops, turns out it's impossible to decline. She sighs, thinking she really should have wished for winning the lottery instead of saying that nonsense. She calms down and notices that if she goes along with the quest, she will get something called Divinity Acquisition. But the price? Destroying the world. That feels super lame. Besides, what's even the point of becoming a god if everyone in the world is dead? The penalties aren't shown anywhere, but she hopes it's something simple like death because she still vividly remembers the way she died last time, and she doesn't ever want to experience that again. She decides she's going to put this whole quest thing off for a while and think about it later. For now, she looks around at the people who are having fun, but to her, it seems like she has become a wanderer with no place to go. So first, she wanders all around the streets, trying to familiarize herself with how the system actually works. Basically, it doesn't auto-pop just by thinking about an item. If she thinks about it faintly, the system kind of shows up blurry, but it only becomes clear if she focuses on the object directly. As a result, she gets flooded with a bunch of unnecessary information, which is tiring. So, annoyed, she shouts off, and surprisingly, it actually works. That confirms to her that she is really inside another saga. While roaming around, she hears people talking about monsters coming and destroying the trees. The female lead instantly knows this must be the disaster known as the Jangdok. That disaster comes super early in the game, way before the main plot even begins. Soon enough, monsters will start to descend, and the real game will officially start. But just because disasters exist and monsters descend doesn't mean this is a bleak or unlivable world. The main setting is actually a prosperous place. Just taking a look around makes that obvious. So she makes a plan. She's going to use this ability and enjoy her new life. She doesn't want anything to do with all that anger and world destruction nonsense. She thinks it's actually a great idea for her future planning. Suddenly, a new quest appears. It's rather perfect since she needs money. But the quest? To poison pumpkins. She's like, what? She hopes there must be some other quests too, but all the quests she finds are kind of villainous coded. Somehow, it even feels like the system knows she's broke, because it increases the rewards based on how villainous the quest is. As she's processing this, she hears someone asking if this is the memories of Bourbon Rock. The voice is so clear that she turns her head without thinking, and the screen shows golden letters. That instantly tells her this person is important. She sees that it's Princess Rohika. The book Rohika is holding is a fake. San wonders if she should step in and help, but then she thinks maybe not. What if the system throws some weird quest at her again? Suddenly, the screen pops up, giving her a new quest, to grab the attention of Rohika. The reward is 600 gold. Her eyes go watery at the thought. 600 gold is a crazy amount. There's no need to hesitate when the reward is that fat. She has to talk to Rohika. At that moment, the shopkeeper is trying to gaslight Rohika, claiming the book is the original and that it's worth 800 gold, but for today only, he'll sell it for 200. The female lead finally decides to step in. She clears her throat and is about to tell Rohika the truth, but suddenly, she stops when she sees a man towering over her. It's Dominic, the guard assigned to Princess Rohika. Clearing her throat again, she asks Rohika if she is really going to buy this book. Rohika says that for now, she will buy it, but whether it's fake or real will be determined by Sophis. After all, that's the charm of the blue fair, the mystery of whether someone got a fake or the real treasure. The shopkeeper agrees, saying that's exactly the charm, even bringing up the famous story about a woman who bought a cheap ring that later turned out to be a diamond. Rohika then asks San if she also agrees with this book being real. But the female lead shakes her head and says no, because this book is not real. Rohika asks if he is trying to say that this book is fake. Out of nowhere, a fake lead kind of energy says that this is right after all. Calling it bourbon is a little too much. The ink is still fresh. Rohika is like, and? This instantly makes the female protagonist wonder if this is not enough evidence and if there should be more. But looking closely at the book, she gets more information and asks them to see the white edges in the spine. It is because the book is treated with modern-day glue, and if it were actually real, it would have been bound with the traditional methods of that time. But suddenly, her eyes land on the mirror. She sees who exactly this body belongs to, skin so pale that it is almost transparent, delicate willow-like brows above a clean forehead. Out of nowhere, her info pops up, revealing that she is Vina, the sim who has lost her master. She gets an unsettling feeling that she can actually check her own info. Rohika says to Vina that she looks lost and if she got something else interesting. Vina, all panicked, starts looking through things as she points to an egg-shaped object. Vina goes ahead and whispers to Rohika that this must be the set of Pavila. She tells her to take it, find it, then break the plaster and insert a pin into the hole at the bottom. Rohika asks Vina why she is telling her all this, because if it is a genuine thing, it must be worth 1.5 million gold. And is she sure she is just going to hand it over? Vina is shocked as hell that this little egg-shaped thing carries such a crazy price. She looks at the egg again and sees that it is actually worth 2 million gold. She starts to contemplate whether she should buy this, but reality slaps her back into place. She is broke. On top of that, the quest is still incomplete, so she says to Rohika that everyone forgot about a winner. Rohika smirks, seeing that Vina knows who she is. Indeed, this princess is truly sharp. The princess says it is amazing to see that such a fair has grown to such a scale, but Vina is not surprised because she knew this was bound to grow. After all, the enormous crowd of people stretches all the way down the street, coins and bills flying as massive cash transactions take place. Because it is traceable, the funds keep flowing. At the same time, the screen pops up showing that Vina has completed her quest, and for the first time in a while, her pocket feels heavy. Rohika says this is exactly right. All the criminal organizations use this festival to launder their dirty money. She questions why Vina thinks the royal family allows this. Vina thinks it is probably to catch the trail, but she leans more towards the idea that the royal family doesn't actually have the money, they just don't want to launder. Rohika says that her expression already shows she knows the answer, and she likes how Vina keeps it to herself. Then she asks Vina her name. Vina tells her. Rohika's eyes widen, shocked that she didn't hesitate to reveal her identity. That alone gives Vina an existential crisis. Was she even supposed to reveal her identity? Rohika says that since Vina gave her good info, she is going to reward her. Then she hands over a brooch, telling her to use it at the entrance of the palace and to ask for Dominic. He will guide her directly to her. Rohika gets all happy telling her to come, but Vina is worried as hell. She sees that this princess loves hiring people at high wages just to watch them cry. Vina has already made up her mind. There is no way in hell she is going to meet her. The scene shifts as Rohika notes that this is what they call the Moon Fair, and she has encountered quite an amazing event. Thanks to Dominic, she knows she has given Vina a lot of money, but for her, it is nothing. It is just a good start to make a useful connection with Vina. The two of them see the egg after opening it, and indeed, it was a foul deal. Rohika starts to laugh, saying that it looks like she is the one who is in debt now because this egg has turned sour, worth only about 1.88 million. She thinks that Reindeer is already a fallen family, and now his daughter shows up like this, so she decides to keep an eye on her. At the end, Vina is living her best life. She got an 800 gold reward from the princess, but seeing her dirty hands, she thinks it is time to take a bath. She looks at the mirror, seeing her body. Her eyes widen as she notices the wounds marked across her skin. While washing, Vina organizes her thoughts. The first matter regarding herself is clear. This world is not entirely the game. It feels more like a parallel world with the same graphics as the game rather than being a game itself. Things like luxury soaps are available at the inn, instead of being exclusively for nobles. Secondly, the life of the girl whose body she is in doesn't seem peaceful at all. When she was washing up, she saw a large cross-shaped scar over her chest. That was definitely not something Vina could have done to herself. And what kind of person would run around the streets all alone? How was the princess able to recognize her instantly? On top of that, the only ability she has is reading. She doesn't even have an inventory window, but honestly, being able to read is already a solid ability. With it, she can make a good fortune since she can gradually gather more information about Vina. For a start, she needs to find a job. The encyclopedia says she finally found a job option, that of a physician. She feels like she's about to hit the jackpot. A physician is important in literally any era. Of course, she doesn't know the slightest thing about medicine, but this window is telling her everything about the sick person and what they need. As expected, it seems the window also answers her thoughts, and if required, she can even open her own clinic. Suddenly, she hears someone talking about Reincarnates. She goes to them, asking if they could spare a moment. She asks if they know anything about Reincarnates. They ask if she's talking about Baron Reincarnates and why she wants to know. Ordering the most expensive meal, she casually says she's just curious. They tell her there isn't much they can say and ask why she doesn't already know about Reincarnates herself. She butters them up, saying she grew up naive and is trying to learn knowledge from people like them. They note that she seems pretty sharp and tell her that there once used to be a sage associated with Baron Reincarnates. The sage was said to be able to see through things with no limit. However, the sage was still human, and as death approached, he left a final wish, that a sage would appear in the Reincarnates family again one day after he passed away. Upon hearing this, even the king made a pact with Reincarnates. In exchange for royal family financial support to the barony, they would give the sage to them when the sage was born again. But despite many efforts, the sage never appeared. Ultimately, the royal family withdrew their support for the barony. The baron tried everything to stop this, but it was all in vain, so he went crazy and died. His wife reportedly left as well. Vina asks if the baron had any children. They say that if they are not wrong, he had a daughter, but they don't even know if she is alive or not. And the only daughter is indeed Vina. She thanks them. To summarize, Vina belongs to a fallen family completely ruined. She thinks the ability to see through things is a lot like her own ability to read, so maybe she is the sage. But the thought makes her worried. What if the princess takes her away? Just thinking about it gives her PTSD. She has no intention of going back to work late nights again. She begs the gods to not let her get involved with the imperial family. She even gives up on her dream of becoming a physician, knowing the quest is probably going to involve some plague outbreak anyway. She tries many shops, but no one takes her in. Finding a job is definitely not easy. Suddenly, she feels something at her feet. She looks down at a flyer that says the Sage of Reincarnates established the Sophist Appraisal Office. She goes there. The name is inspired by the ancient sage Sophist Tor. From a stone picked up off the street to a national treasure, the flyer says they will appraise anything for money. In this world, with all kinds of magic, curses, and sorcery, some objects are too dangerous to handle and hard to identify with just knowledge. A magician is definitely needed because appraisal requires the use of mana. But Vina doesn't need any of that. Even though she lacks mana, she has superior features equipped instead. She decides she will definitely land a job. She enters the office and sees that there are a lot of people there. It feels a bit like a bank. Someone comes and sits, asking how they can help her. She says she's here to apply for a job. The man, all gleaming, asks if she is here to check out the company's reputation. She says no, she wants to get hired. The guy tells her the recruitment period for new appraisal office staff is already over. But she stays chill, knowing they must hire through special connections and recommendation. The man is taken aback, because this is not the kind of thing someone just says at their first meeting. Normally, he would kick out people like that. But even though she wears an ordinary robe, her hair is glossy and she doesn't show any signs of being a commoner. She asks the man if his good clothes are from Pruge work and tells him if he smokes, he should quit, since it's not good for his pet. The man is stunned, like what the hell is up with this woman? This is definitely not usual, so he decides he will have to inform the vice leader of the guild. He asks her to wait as he contacts the higher-ups. He meets the vice leader, whose name is Elise. The man tells Elise that someone is here to get hired for the counselor job, but Elise remarks that their new hiring period is already over, so she wonders why he is telling her this. The man argues that it is some kind of special case, so she should come and see it for herself. He assures her that she will understand once she meets that person. Elise reluctantly agrees, and he begins to guide her. On the other hand, Vina is waiting for them to arrive. When Elise comes along with the man, she immediately asks him if this is the woman he has been talking about. Elise studies Vina carefully and thinks that she does not look ordinary, and she does seem as though she is someone worth paying attention to. Elise then takes out her pendulum to check Vina's magical power. The pendulum vibrates according to how much magical power a person holds, and if Vina truly is a special case, then it will surely vibrate greatly. Elise checks it, but surprisingly, the pendulum does not even move. She even smacks the pendulum a little, thinking that it might have broken, but it still does not budge. This makes her glare at the man, because she clearly heard him say that this woman is an unusual case. The man hurriedly apologizes to Elise, admitting that it seems like he has made a great mistake. Elise sighs and asks him to just send Vina back politely. She had been expecting her to be a wizard. When Elise is about to leave, she suddenly hears Vina speaking about the cup of overflow. This makes Elise stop in her tracks and look back at her. She notices Vina declaring that everything here is fake except this single cup. Elise becomes confused, because what Vina says is true. Everything here is indeed a fake except that one cup. Suddenly, a loud shout interrupts them. Someone demands that his item be appraised right away. Both Elise and Vina whirl around and see a man arguing at the counter. He insists to the counter lady that she does not need to go all the way to the second floor, since he already knows roughly how much it costs. The lady argues back that he will only get the correct value if it is taken to the second floor. The creep of a man shouts at her, saying that she herself admitted it looks like a good thing, so why doesn't she just set a price immediately? The counter lady firmly refuses, saying that she cannot give him any abrupt price without proper procedure. Vina observes this, wondering why this man is getting so frustrated over something like this. She wonders what kind of expensive item it could possibly be. When she looks at the box he is trying to sell, she sees that it contains a ring. However, it is not an ordinary ring, it is a stolen one. The man is actually a gambler who stole this, and Vina begins to think that perhaps this is why he is trying to sell it now. She debates whether it might be better not to get involved, but then she realizes that using this man's situation, she might be able to make her presence known. As the counter girl continues to argue with the creep, Vina steps forward and remarks that the ring seems rather expensive, but also points out that it bears a stolen title. The moment she says this, the man grows nervous and shouts that this is his family heirloom. Vina retorts that she has heard the peanut trading company recently had an item stolen, and if he could prove that this ring is not stolen, she will believe him. At that very moment, she sees a system notification appear before her eyes, informing her that the man is about to run away. Just as predicted, the creep suddenly tries to escape, but not under her watch. Vina swiftly makes him trip, and he crashes onto the ground, causing the box to fly away. On the other side, Elise comes forward and picks up the box, wondering if this really is a stolen item. The creep shouts angrily that it belongs to him. Elise then asks Vina if she is sure this is the stolen item from the peanut trading company. Vina assures her that it is, and suggests asking the company directly for verification. Elise agrees and orders her men to hand the thief over to the security department. The creep mutters under his breath that he could have made a great profit if only this woman had not stepped in. Elise thanks Vina for saving her some trouble. Elise continues to gaze at Vina, wondering how this woman not only managed to identify the authenticity of the item but also knew it was stolen. Elise's instincts tell her that this woman is the real deal. She then asks Vina if she would like to work at their guild as an appraiser. Vina readily agrees. Elise invites her to join her for some tea, both out of gratitude and to discuss her possible employment. Vina is overjoyed, as everything seems to be going according to her plan. At the office, Elise orders tea to be served and thanks Vina again for what she did earlier. Vina responds with gladness, happy that she could be of help, though she remarks that it was rather foolish of that creep to come with a stolen item. Elise seconds this opinion, stating that these days, people like him come to sell items in order to earn money for gambling in illegal places. Vina questions her, wondering if the government had not already cracked down on such places. Elise shakes her head, explaining that Vina seems to lack a lot of information about the capital. Elise tells her that it is a well-known story of power struggle. His Majesty the King is not interested in the security of the capital, as he is too busy keeping an eye on the Duke's late father's son and only nephew. Because all military forces are tied up in guarding the palace, there are significant gaps in the capital's security. This negligence has allowed gamblers to rise in number, leading to the proliferation of illegal gambling halls. The scene then shifts to another group. Someone named Giant remarks that it seems they have arrived here too late. He asks G what they should do. Another man comes to G, reporting that they have found a place where security trades invitations to illegal gambling traders. G, looking handsome and composed, responds that first, they will withdraw from here. G asks his knights if they have found the exact location to get the invitation. The knights report that they are still investigating from all angles, but G is sure that they won't simply trade the invitations for money. He suspects there must be a code involved, so he orders them to find everything they need as quickly as possible, because there is no time to waste and they must hurry. Meanwhile, in another place, the tea is already prepared. Elise asks Vina to choose whatever she likes from what is offered. Vina, however, notices what a cheeky move this is, since among the 3 lots displayed, only one of them is the real deal. Vina chooses the middle one, stating that the oldest teas are the most fragrant, and that 90 years ago is not that long. Elise is shocked to hear this and says to her that she is absolutely right. Elise then offers her some Woojin tea leaves, though in truth, they are actually Ashu tea leaves. Vina questions Elise, asking if she is sure about this. Elise is stunned, staring at her, and asks whether Vina is some kind of wizard or if she possesses an appraisal technique skill. Vina only replies with another question, asking if she would need such a thing in order to be hired. Elise tells her she does not, as long as she is skilled. Vina then declares that she is truly qualified and that she will prove it. She points out that the statue behind them is currently enchanted with a lie detection spell, and that the wing-shaped ornament at the entrance is cast with a magic detection spell. Elise is shocked to hear this, realizing Vina has noticed every hidden detail. Thinking about all of this, Elise asks if Vina is a sage. The system assures Vina that Elise is a good person and will not spread rumors. Feeling safe enough, Vina lowers her guard and tells Elise that she is Vina Reedier. Elise immediately stands up and apologizes for her rudeness. Vina assures her that she does not need to bow down like this, but Elise insists that she is still a noble, and she had spoken to her too informally. Vina shrugs this off, saying that it is all right, especially since Elise is going to be her boss anyway. Elise, however, argues that commoners should not address nobles without honorifics. Vina then tilts her head and remarks that no one said she is going to be a noble, and she is only here to get a job. Elise tells her this is impossible and insists that she should go to the palace instead, where she would surely receive good treatment. The palace must have already confirmed her identity, but Elise suddenly remembers that the Reedier family had failed the verification and completely fell from grace. That explains why Vina has not gone to the Imperial Palace. Elise also realizes that if Vina were to work with them, she would bring them great advantage, but the problem is that if the Imperial Palace learns of the sage's existence, it will become a major issue for them. Elise says to Vina that even with great ability like hers, they still cannot work together. Vina smoothly completes the sentence for her, and Elise is left confused, wondering how Vina knew what she was about to say. Vina then tells her that she knows Elise is going through something, and if she can be of help, she would like to do so. Elise becomes even more unsettled, wondering if Vina can actually read someone's mind. In truth, Elise has recently acquired an old box said to have been crafted 200 years ago. She has no idea what kind of magic lies within it, and she has been stuck, unable to discover its secret. Elise asks Vina if she would want her employment in exchange for solving that mystery. Elise hesitates, because she knows Vina is a dangerous woman, but there is no doubt that she is the sage of the Reedier family. Vina points out that she knows the box is extremely expensive, and she needs to make up for the loss as well. Elise, having no other option, says that she will hire her if she is able to help with this. However, Elise adds that before anything, Vina will have to wear a blindfold, since they are headed to the top secret place of their guild. Elise personally places the blindfold on her. Once it covers her eyes, Vina notices that she is unable to see her system screen anymore, realizing it must be linked with her eyesight. Vina walks along with Elise, wondering why the security is this tight and why they have to walk this much. Eventually, they finally arrive. Elise asks Vina to remove her blindfold. When she does, she finds herself standing in what looks like an empty chamber with a single box in the center. The place feels like a room built to imprison the box itself. The description about the box is truly terrifying, and it radiates an ominous aura of magic. Vina asks Elise where in the world she even obtained this box, but Elise flexes her authority, saying that for her this is nothing. Elise asks Vina to get closer and touch it to see. Vina looks at her incredulously, asking if she has gone mad. Even so, she steps a little closer. The system immediately warns her that she has entered a dangerous area. All of a sudden, her breathing starts to stop. All worried, they all start to rush toward Vina. She is panicking, wondering if she is going to die again, just like in her past life, helplessly like that. The danger, however, begins to neutralize just in time, and she slowly regains her breath. Elise looks at her with concern and asks if she is all good, while Vina assures that she only went out of breath for a moment. She is already exhausted with this world's chaos, tired of the constant dangers surrounding her. Elise then wonders aloud if she might even possess other abilities as well, leaving Vina confused about what she means. Elise explains that the first time others encountered this phenomenon, they all fainted, and that is the reason she was about to cast a protective spell on her. Vina, however, feels frustrated that Elise should have told her this sooner. Yet for Elise, the more she witnesses, the more fascinating Vina becomes. Now that she thinks carefully about it, the system earlier declared that what afflicted Vina was nothing more than a mere curse. Elise begins to question if this means Vina is not simply cursed but perhaps a player of a stronger curse, or even a calamity greater than that. Vina decides that she will leave this troubling thought for later and instead focuses on the task at hand. She turns her attention to the mysterious box, wondering what could possibly be inside. The discovery reveals the orb of the king's wrath, but Vina, with calm determination, informs Elise that it is in fact the orb of the tiger's colossus. Elise is left utterly shocked, but before the moment can settle, Vina receives a new quest. The system declares that she must taint the land and ensure that the goddess abandons this world. With a steady tone, she informs everyone present that since it is a cursed object, none of them should dare to touch it. And since the curse was laid upon it by the goddess herself, it must never be buried or destroyed carelessly. Elise then asks if there are any spells cast upon the orb. Vina consults the system and announces that to break the spell, they will need a fong, a wheel, and a candle. The wizards present immediately hail this information, realizing that with these things they can surely cast the spell away. They all begin the ritual, gathering their power to cast the spell, but suddenly something starts to emerge from the box. Vina is confused, convinced that she has followed the instructions of the system correctly, and yet this anomaly is taking place. Just then, the system speaks again, revealing that only one of the 7 seals has been broken. Shock spreads through the room, and Elise, realizing the truth, exclaims that they will now need to break the remaining 6 seals as well. She clutches Vina's hands in excitement, shouting that this is a groundbreaking discovery. No one before had ever managed to break even a single seal, and Vina not only did so but also managed to identify the seal. Elise points out that countless people have fainted trying to achieve this, and now, thanks to Vina, history has been made. The wizards, initially doubtful of Elise, begin to look at her in reverence, realizing that her team has brought them a miracle. All of them become overjoyed, laughing and celebrating together. Elise herself is thrilled, already thinking about how they might even sell this to some eccentric collector who loves cursed relics. She happily suggests that Vina could even come to work with them starting tomorrow. Vina, however, smiles and insists that first, something important must be settled, and that is the matter of salary negotiation. For the first time in this new life, Vina feels genuinely happy. She secures a separate dormitory, learns that the working hours are from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., and realizes that this world offers far better welfare than the one she left behind. Most importantly, she successfully negotiates an annual salary of 3 billion, a sum that shocks everyone. Indeed, the guild master proves to be a generous spender. But Elise, on the other hand, quickly realizes that she has been outmaneuvered. She had thought of Vina as a mere little girl, easy to manage, but the moment the contract negotiations began, Vina's entire aura transformed. The atmosphere shifted drastically, especially when Elise tried to pressure her with a lower salary, arguing that no other workplace would ever provide such generous benefit. Vina, however, refused to yield, calmly pointing out that her talent was unique and unmatched. When Elise hinted that there might be occasional overtime, Vina immediately made it clear that she would never work under such conditions. Elise had never intended to exploit Vina, only to negotiate in her favor, but every strategy she attempted crumbled before Vina's unshakable composure. Elise has met countless high-ranking nobles, but Vina is on an entirely different level, polite yet firm, confident with sharp instincts, and unwavering in her stance. Even as she brought the negotiations to a close, Vina displayed impeccable manners, leaving Elise both impressed and frustrated. Elise now realizes that she has come dangerously close to a clash with the royal family, and she must keep this hidden no matter what. Before that, however, she begins to write a letter to the Fire Guild's leader, determined to report everything that has transpired. She must also inform him that Vina has recognized the chalice of overflowing. The guild master, upon hearing this, smirks knowingly, remarking that in such a case, he will have to meet her in person. We see Vina all happy, thinking that it is only a matter of time before she becomes rich. Suddenly, someone comes to her calling. There are 2 girls. One is the counter lady whose name is Agnes, and the person beside her is Lyra. Vina wonders what they are doing here, and Agnes explains that she has actually come to thank her for helping during that incident, and as a token of gratitude, they would like to have some wine with her. They ask if she would like to drink with them after work. Just thinking about wine makes Vina feel oddly delighted. In her previous life, she used to get invited to office dinners, but she never truly felt welcome. She now wonders whether she should go this time. After a brief hesitation, she decides whatever, and agrees to go with them. Both Agnes and Lyra become extremely happy, and the three of them plan to meet at a pub at 6. The pub is called Six People Pub, a name that oddly reminds Vina of the 6 energy drinks she once had in her last life. The name feels extremely off to her, but she still proceeds. She enters the pub and notices that the place looks quite popular, bustling with energy. She begins to look around for Lyra and Agnes, when suddenly Agnes rushes inside, visibly worried and upset. Vina asks her why she looks so shaken, and Agnes explains that Lyra has disappeared. She says that she was with Lyra, but when Lyra went into the alley, the one infamous for kidnapping, she vanished, leaving Agnes unable to find her. Vina tries to calm her down, but when she turns back, her eyes widen in shock as she notices that the pub owner himself is a gambler who is also involved in kidnapping. Vina is thrown into confusion, not sure of what she should do, for acting recklessly could backfire on them all. Just then, a golden ticket arrives, and she realizes that Duke G is here. His appearance fits perfectly with the golden letter, similar to those held by the princess and Vahika. On top of that, he is also tied to the dumping ring, which means she must extract information from him. Vina turns to Agnes and tells her that she will handle this and that Agnes should go home at once. There is no time to explain anything in detail. She insists firmly that Agnes should leave for now. Agnes, knowing that Vina is a good person, agrees and says she will head to the police station instead, asking Vina to take care. After she leaves, Vina pulls back her hood, realizing that the letter shown to the gambler is actually fake. This is the very scene that was shown at the start of the manhwa. Duke G confronts her, saying that he needs more information from her. Vina, caught off guard, finds herself distracted by his striking looks, for he is ridiculously handsome. She nods slightly, seeing how he seems to be blessed by the goddess herself, carrying the aura of some main character. Duke G, however, tells her to focus. He points out that she could tell the letter was fake at a single glance, but he questions whether she shared that information with anyone. His suspicion is made clear when he touches the hilt of his sword, warning her not to give him any silly answers. Vina insists that she needs his help, as her friend has been kidnapped by the man running the illegal guild. She admits that she does not know what might happen if she delays any longer. Duke G understands her urgency but replies that he cannot act on uncertain information, especially since she is merely a civilian. Vina then challenges him by asking what if she is able to help him. This takes him by surprise. He realizes that she is tense about her friend's safety, but he argues that he cannot drag a civilian into something so dangerous. Vina replies that she knows about the arena and that she can guide him to where it might be. He sighs and tells her to follow him, though his eyes reveal that he still does not fully trust her. Yet Vina knows that once they arrive, he will be convinced. As they move, she notices the Knights of Duke G, realizing that they must be the ones who have supplied him with information about her. In the middle of the capital, Duke G turns to her and asks where exactly they should go. Vina knows she must reach a higher point in order to scan the capital properly and gather information. Together, they begin to climb the stairs toward the rooftop, moving through the upper levels. Duke G, watching her from behind, wonders to himself how much he must be slacking if he is actually following a mysterious woman like this. The more he thinks about it, the more he becomes unsettled by her pink eyes. Her eyes are not common at all. Perhaps it is because his senses are sharper than most, but he has always been able to read emotions in people's eyes, whether affection, admiration, or hostility. Yet in her case, her pink eyes shine as though clear and transparent, but at the same time, her gaze is so cold and emotionless that it is frightening. He cannot read her eyes at all, no matter how hard he tries. Without realizing it, his mouth moves on its own as he suddenly asks her what her name is. She says that it is Vina. His eyes widen to hear this, but she does not give him enough time to process as they reach the top of the tower. She sees a lot of windows, just as expected, and the choice of high ground proves to be a good idea. She begins to look for the gambling area and is able to point it out. Maybe it is because of seeing all these windows at once that she starts to feel dizzy. As she is about to lose her balance, the Duke calls out to her, telling her to be careful, but she manages to steady herself by holding onto the balcony. It still startles her, but she notices that if she had fallen, the Duke would have tried to save her. The Duke comes a little closer, and being this near, she is able to see his broad shoulders, his straightened eyes, and his tall figure. She thinks to herself that this is indeed the man. She asks him if he is strong. The Duke finds it unusual, since no one has asked him this kind of question in quite a while, but at least he is the type of man who downplays such matters easily. She then says that if he is strong, then he can protect her too, so she is going to come with him as well. But he tells her no, that this is a separate matter. After all, she is just a civilian, and he assures her that her friend will be rescued. Vina asks him if he is really going to trust her location. He says that this is not about trust, he will first confirm the location. But then he gets the message that the location she has shown them is accurate. Seeing his reaction, she realizes that someone has just told him her information is reliable. The Duke then asks her how she knew this, but she deflects, saying that they got her first, and also asks him to take her there. Looking at her eyes again, he finally agrees that he will take her, but he also makes it clear that he will need to investigate her later as well. And just like that, the contract between them is established. She then tells him that he needs to carry her so they can get there faster. She says he should carry her with his left hand so his right hand remains free for his sword, but she mocks him, teasing that it must be difficult for him. The Duke can see that she is purposefully trying to annoy him, and having no other choice, he finally picks her up and begins to run. She is impressed that even while carrying a person, he is able to run with such incredible speed, and once again she realizes that it might not be so difficult for him after all. The girl closes her eyes, but the ride is not bad either. At last, they reach the building and decide to hide for now and observe it. She then asks who those guild members are. Even the Duke is taken aback that she does not know them, but she lies, saying that she just came to the capital not long ago. He accepts the lie for now and explains that Mandala, the man of magic, is a vicious criminal who does not hesitate to commit murder, arson, and even worse acts. He commands a large number of subordinates. She wonders how someone like that is still moving freely around. The Duke sighs and says that the truth is, they are short on manpower. He adds that Mandala is infamous for sacrificing his own subordinates to escape, and his subordinates do not even know each other's faces, making it very difficult to track them down. But Vina says she does not care about any of that, her only concern is to save Lyra. At the same time, she gets a quiet message that if she manages to make Mandala escape, she will be rewarded with 200 million gold. She thinks to herself that this is going to be worth the try. She then asks the Duke if he is going to raid right away. He says that he will. She tells him that there might be some casualties. He knows this, but he also knows that he cannot save everyone. She realizes that he does not sugarcoat anything and that even her friend might get caught in trouble too. She sees that this man is being serious. She knows that this is not his duty, yet he is still doing it. A type like him makes others want to cheer for them, but at the same time, one does not want to get too close. She tells him that she is not going to criticize him, but she has a better plan, and she asks if he would like to hear it. He is like, "What?" She thinks to herself that she does not want to feel as if she is the savior, but at the same time she does not want Lyra to get hurt either. She notices that the illegal arena is 2 stories high, and the guards there are pretending to be drunk on alcohol when in reality they are only drinking water. She tells him that the victims are kept on the 2nd floor while the 1st floor belongs to Magdala. She also warns him to be careful, since the guards are disguised as drunks. She asks him how Magdala usually escapes. He tells her that he uses a secret hideout, locked and placed at some distance from the main door. She knows then that no matter how poorly guarded this place seems, people still live on the streets outside, so if they wanted to hide the hideout from the eyes of others, they would not have built it so close. He says that they should first aim to take the guards down. She stops him and asks if he trusts her. He replies that maybe, for now. She insists then that he should follow her instructions for the time being. Now he is carrying her again. She points out that no one has ever made him carry them like this before, but she remarks that they have no other options, since she is too slow otherwise. She jokes that he had better not grow obsessed over her now. She finally locates the secret hideout of Magdala, and she even discovers one of the executives of Magdala's group. She knows that in such an organization, no one remains without complaints. With this information, they definitely gain a chance, and now it is time to start the party. She suggests that they return to the arena. Back at the arena, the guards see her walking toward them, and they start tripping over themselves at the sight of her beauty. She approaches them and asks if they have seen her friend, a girl named Lyra, who has fluffy hair. Seeing her beauty up close, the guards begin to stumble over their words, thinking she might make a good product herself. They say that yes, they did see a girl with fluffy blue hair. She asks them where they saw her. The guards suggest that it would be better if they go inside and talk. She smiles, for they have walked right into her trap, and she agrees. As they enter the inn, one of the guards tells her that she is super naive and demands that she behaves so that nothing happens to her. She begins to act as though she is a terrified lady. She notices that Magdala has a door with a secret passage and even a knight's suit standing in the hall. This shows her that this man is truly thorough. The guards knock at the door, telling Gilder to come out. He steps out, glaring at them and demanding to know what they are doing instead of guarding the door. The guards explain that they heard Magdala is short on staff, so they brought this girl for him. Gilder pulls her to the side and scolds the guards, saying that if they really abandon their guard duty for something like this, then they are truly pathetic. She looks around to see if there is anything important here, and her attention is caught by 2 letters lying on the table. Gilder smiles at her and remarks that it looks like she is here searching for a girl. But Vina coldly asks him where Magdala is. She can see that this man has already become intimidated by her presence. She tells him that his name must be Gilder, which shocks him. She sighs and says that she feels sorry for him because he will never get promoted to be an officer like her, and his wife must be worried sick waiting for him at home. He shouts at her that if she knows so much, then she had better give the pass. She repeats the pass after reading it off the screen. It is "The Sick Lion Roars." She tells him that this is not the time for games, and she has information that Duke G might raid this place any moment now. She shouts at him, demanding to know if he even realizes the seriousness of the situation, and orders him to guide her to the way immediately. As Gilder begins to lead her toward Magdala, she tells him that the blue-haired girl they kidnapped is her subordinate, so they had better release her at once. Now it is time to meet the real boss. This is turning out to be far more entertaining than she thought. On the other side, people are being beaten by Magdala. They beg for Magdala's mercy, but Magdala says that traitors do not deserve such a thing. Magdala feels as though these rats keep on betraying her. She asks her man about the collection, whether they lost any of it. The man assures her that even if he is the Duke, he still cannot trace the anonymous account at Stellan Bank. This makes Magdala happy, for this remarkable lady has already outsmarted the Duke twice. This time she personally leaked the information that the invitation would be traded at the Tavern of Six, and by the time the Duke must be running off to the wrong location with that fake lead in his hand, everything is going smoothly for her. She cannot help but laugh openly. One of her men tells her that the mid-level officer is here to meet her, and she thinks it is perfect timing. She is going to tell that person to pose as her because they need to leave this place immediately. She asks who that person is, and her men, terrified, explain that the person claims to be a subordinate of Lord Wayne. Magdala grows angry at the thought. They expect her to meet someone whose identity is not even clear. Her man insists that the person claims to know the location of the next base. She starts to think that if a subordinate knows the classified information which was only shared with officers, then it is suspicious indeed. She allows them to let that person inside. The one who enters is none other than Vina. Seeing her, Magdala throws a glass at the wall. To her, this lady is clearly a noble, and if those eyes are not for decoration, then what are they for? Vina knows she needs to calm her down. After all, she has the window by her side. She bows before Magdala, greeting her. This shocks Magdala, for it has been a long while since she has seen someone not trembling in her presence. She wonders if Lord Wayne truly has someone like her. Magdala scoffs at the idea and questions whether she should believe that a noble woman is the subordinate of Wayne. Vina begins her performance, acting with conviction that she has come all the way here risking her life for this organization, and that her superior Wayne is scheming because he is disappointed with the hall distribution. Magdala thinks that this seems true, since the mole she planted under Wayne reported the same thing to her. She wonders if Vina truly is Wayne's subordinate. Vina presses further, telling her that if she does not believe her, then why not test her? On the other side, the Duke's knights also discuss her. They remark that the more they think about it, the more suspicious Vina becomes. Duke G asks them what is so suspicious about her. The knights explain that though she is a noble, the source of her information is uncanny, so someone must be backing her. Duke G admits that he has his doubts too, but the moment he saw her eyes he wanted to believe her. For the first time, he could not understand her intentions. Even the knight wonders if he has fallen for her or not. Duke G decides they will surely ask her some questions later, but for now their focus will be on luring Magdala, and once that is done, he will confront her. Meanwhile, Magdala laughs over the fact that Vina is trying so hard to prove herself. She thinks it is indeed a bold move. Magdala says that they have recently changed Wayne's code, and if Vina truly belongs to Wayne's people, she will surely know it. If she does not guess correctly, it will be over for her. Magdala is impressed to see that this girl does not even flinch despite the blade in front of her. She demands the code of Wayne. Vina thinks this test is too obvious, and without hesitation she declares the code, strangle the black lion, and adds that previously the code was the cub limps. Magdala hurls her dagger to terrify her, striking the wall behind her. That settles it, Vina is telling the truth. Magdala scoffs again, saying that it seems like the reports were right about Wayne. But Vina tells her that it is not only Wayne, Marl and Ella too have turned against the organization. Magdala cannot believe it. Even Marl and Ella are betraying her? Vina explains that Marl's grudge stems from losing his closest ally, while Ella harbors resentment over her lover being dealt with on Magdala's orders. Magdala cannot believe they are betraying her over something so trivial. She senses that it has already started, and this is the final straw that they also led Duke G directly to the hall. She believes they do not even know that he is going to arrive, and so she must escape. But just then, a loud thud echoes through the air. The Night Lady tells Magdala that the Duke's knights are here. Magdala rushes to see with her own eyes. Her eyes widen at the sight. Why on earth is the Grand Duke here when he was supposed to be at the wrong place? She realizes they have truly betrayed her and brought him here. Vina watches closely, knowing Magdala is getting cornered. The funds are already secured in Stellan Bank, so there is no problem there, and Magdala has numerous fallback locations to retreat to. Vina seems to know all of this, and she understands that Magdala's next move will be to bring her closer, making her believe that everything is as predictable as ever. Magdala orders her knights to buy her some time while she slips out through the secret passage. She then tells Vina to follow her. Opening the chimney, she instructs Vina not to make her repeat herself, and the two begin their escape. As they run, Magdala feels a surge of triumph, convinced once again that she has outsmarted Duke G for the third time. In her mind, not even the Great Duke can defeat her. While running, she speaks to Vina, declaring that she will make her the next high-ranking officer, and once they are free of this place, they will plan something grand. Just as Magdala is about to open the door ahead, someone pushes it from the opposite side, sending her tumbling back. She stares in shock, wondering who it is, until Duke G himself steps forward, saying that they are finally able to meet face to face. Magdala is furious, unable to comprehend how he got there. Vina comments that he has arrived at the perfect time, which enrages Magdala even more. She cannot believe that this little woman would dare to betray her. Vina, however, calmly states that she was never on Magdala's side to begin with. Magdala, seething, grabs a dagger and lunges toward Vina. But before the strike can land, Duke G intercepts, stopping her hand and subduing her. He then orders his knights to move quickly and save the kidnapped victims. By the time the sun rises, the operation has ended. Vina stands with a faint smile, knowing that everything went as expected.